The alarm bells rang across Earth's moon base at exactly 3:47 in the morning. Admiral Jake Morrison jumped out of his bed and ran to the command center. His heart was beating fast as he looked at the screens. Something big was coming. "What do we have?" Jake asked as he walked into the control room. Captain Lisa Torres was already there, her face pale as she stared at the data. "Sir, we've got contacts at the edge of the solar system. Lots of them," Lisa said. She pointed to the main screen where hundreds of red dots appeared. "They just came out of nowhere. Our deep space sensors picked them up 5 minutes ago." Jake looked at the screen and felt his stomach drop. He had been preparing for this day for 20 years, but seeing it happen was different. The dots were moving in perfect formation toward Earth. This was not a friendly visit. Commander Ryan Bell ran into the room, still putting on his uniform. "Admiral, we're getting signals from all the outer stations. Whatever these things are, they're huge. Our scouts report ships the size of cities." Jake nodded and walked to his command chair. "Get me President Hayes on the secure line. Wake up, everyone on the Defense Council. And Ryan, send word to all our hidden bases. Tell them Code Black is now active." Lisa was working at her station, trying to make sense of the alien signals. "Sir, they're trying to communicate with us. The signal is strong and it's coming from the largest ship. I think it's their leader." "Can you understand what they're saying?" Jake asked. "I'm working on it. Our computers are breaking down their language." "Give me a few more minutes," Lisa said. Her fingers were flying over the keyboard. Jake looked out the window at Earth below. The blue planet looked so peaceful from here. Soon it might be under attack by aliens who came from across the galaxy. He had to protect it. He had to protect everyone. "Admiral, I've got something," Lisa called out. "They're using basic mathematical concepts to build a translation matrix. It's actually pretty smart. I can understand some of their words now." "What are they saying?" Jake asked. Lisa listened to her headphones for a moment. Her face went white. "Sir, they're not here to talk. They're giving us orders. They want us to surrender." Ryan came back to Jake's side. "All stations are reporting the same thing. These aliens have surrounded our entire solar system. There must be thousands of ships out there." Jake felt anger rising in his chest. These aliens thought they could just show up and take over Earth. They had no idea what they were dealing with. Humans had been fighting wars for thousands of years. They had survived ice ages, plagues, and world wars. They were not going to give up without a fight. "Lisa, can you translate our words back to them?" Jake asked. "Yes, sir. The translation system works both ways now," Lisa replied. "Good. Open a channel to their command ship." The main screen flickered and then showed the inside of an alien ship. The creature on the screen was tall and thin with gray skin. Its eyes were large and black. When it spoke, the computer translated its words into English. "I am Fleet Commander Zax Thule of the Zephyrian Empire. You will surrender your world immediately. We have conquered over 300 planets. Your primitive weapons cannot stop us. You have 72 hours to decide." Jake stepped forward so the alien could see him clearly. "I am Admiral Jake Morrison of Earth Defense Command. We received your message." "Then you understand," the alien said. "Surrender now and your people will become workers in our empire. Fight us and we will destroy every living thing on your planet." Jake looked at the alien commander for a long moment. Behind him, Lisa and Ryan were waiting to see what he would say. On Earth below, billions of people were sleeping, not knowing that their world was about to change forever. "Commander Zax Thule," Jake said in a calm voice, "I have a message for you and your empire. Leave our solar system now. Leave and never come back. This is your only warning." The alien made a sound that might have been laughter. "Warning? You dare to warn us? We have destroyed civilizations that were thousands of years older than yours. Your little ships are no match for our fleet." "That may be true," Jake said, "but you should know something about humans before you make your final decision. On our world, we were not the biggest animals. We were not the fastest or the strongest, but we became the rulers of our planet anyway. Do you know why?" The alien commander looked confused. "Your words make no sense." "We became the top predator because we never give up. When something hunts us, we hunt it back. When something threatens our families, we eliminate the threat completely. Every dangerous animal on our world learned to fear us. Everyone. Jake stepped closer to the camera. You have 72 hours to leave our system. If you don't, you will discover why nothing on Earth hunts humans anymore. The alien commander's expression changed. For just a moment, Jake saw something like doubt in those black eyes, but then the creature straightened up. Foolish creatures. In 3 days, your world will belong to the Zephyrian Empire. The transmission ended. The screen went black. Ryan looked at Jake with wide eyes. Sir, do you really think we can fight them? Jake smiled for the first time that morning. Ryan, they have no idea what's coming. Get me Dr. Amanda Price on the secure line. It's time to show these aliens what humans do to things that threaten their home. The countdown had begun. Dr. Amanda Price walked into the secure briefing room deep under the Rocky Mountains. She carried a thick folder marked with red stamps that said, Eyes Only, and Code Black. President William Hayes was already sitting at the long table with the other members of the Global Defense Council. Amanda, thank God you're here, the president said. We need to know what we're really dealing with. Amanda opened her folder and spread out photographs and documents. Mr. President, we've been tracking the Zephyrian Empire for 37 years. Ever since we found their crashed scout ship in Alaska in 1987. The defense secretary leaned forward. You mean we've known about them this whole time? Not just known about them, Amanda said. We've been studying them, learning everything we could about their technology, their culture, their military tactics. We knew this day would come. She pulled out a photograph of a strange metallic object. This is what started it all. The wreckage we found had technology we'd never seen before. But more importantly, it had star charts, maps showing hundreds of conquered worlds. President Hayes looked at the photo. So you've been preparing for war? We've been preparing for survival, Amanda replied. Every crashed probe, every intercepted signal, every piece of alien technology we could find. We reverse-engineered all of it. We learned how their ships work, how their weapons function, how they communicate. Meanwhile, on the moon base, Admiral Jake Morrison was meeting with his senior officers. Captain Lisa Torres had been working all night to decode more Zephyrian communications. What have you learned? Jake asked. Lisa looked tired, but excited. Sir, they're not just confident. They're completely dismissive of us. I intercepted dozens of their internal messages. They're calling Earth a Class 4 primitive world. They think our most advanced weapons are nuclear missiles. Commander Ryan Bell laughed. Nuclear missiles, if they only knew. That's not all, Lisa continued. They've done this exact same thing to over 300 other worlds. They show up, demand surrender, and when the planet refuses, they destroy all the major cities from orbit. Then they land troops to clean up. Jake nodded. Standard procedure. For them. They've never met a species that could fight back effectively. Lieutenant Colonel Steve Parker entered the room. He was the leader of Earth's Special Reconnaissance Forces. His uniform was completely black, and even his rank insignia were hard to see. Admiral, my teams are ready, Steve said. We've got our stealth ships positioned throughout the solar system. The aliens can't see us. How many ships do we have hidden? Jake asked. 237 combat vessels plus support craft, Steve replied. All equipped with the new quantum mask technology. To their sensors, we're invisible. Lisa looked up from her computer. Sir, I'm getting another transmission from their command ship. Commander Zax Thule wants to talk again. Put him on screen, Jake said. The alien commander appeared on the main display. This time he looked even more arrogant than before. Human Admiral, your time is running short. We have analyzed your pathetic defenses. Your orbital stations are weak. Your ships are slow. Surrender now and avoid unnecessary death. Jake stood in front of the camera. Commander, I told you to leave our system. You have 51 hours remaining. Your warning was amusing, the alien said. But we have studied your species. You are barely out of the Stone Age. Your weapons are primitive. Your technology is thousands of years behind ours. Is that what you think? Jake asked. It is what we know, Zaxthul replied. We have watched your world for decades. You still use rocket fuel to reach space. You still fight wars with chemical explosives. You are no threat to the Zephyrian Empire. Jake smiled. It was not a friendly smile. Commander, let me ask you something. When you conquered those other 300 worlds, did any of them give you a warning first? The alien looked confused. A warning? No. Most begged for mercy. Some tried to bargain. Others attacked immediately with their primitive weapons. But none of them warned you to leave? No. Why would they? They knew they could not win. Jake's smile grew wider. That's the difference between them and us. We don't give warnings because we're afraid. We give warnings because we're being polite. On Earth, Dr. Amanda Price was showing the Defense Council humanity's secret weapons. This is our latest stealth fighter, she said, pointing to a sleek black ship on the screen. It uses alien technology that we improved. Their own sensors. Can't detect it. How many do we have? Asked the president. Enough, Amanda replied. But the real surprise isn't our ships. It's our weapons. She pressed a button and another image appeared. It showed a device that looked like a crystal surrounded by metal rings. This is what we call a quantum disruptor, Amanda explained. It uses the Zephyrians' own energy technology against them. Their ships are powered by quantum reactors. This weapon causes those reactors to overload. The defense secretary stared at the image. You're saying we can make their own power sources explode? Exactly. We've had 30 years to study their technology. We know more about how their ships work than most of their own engineers do. Back on the moon base, Dr. Amy Johnson was putting the finishing touches on humanity's most important weapon. She was a quantum physicist who had spent her entire career studying alien technology. Admiral Morrison, she called over the intercom, the quantum virus is ready. Jake came to her laboratory. Explain it to me one more time, Amy. It's elegant. Really, she said. The Zephyrians use quantum communication networks to coordinate their entire fleet. Every ship is connected to every other ship. They think this makes them stronger. But you found a way to turn it against them? I created a virus that spreads through quantum entanglement, Amy explained. Once it infects one ship, it will spread to their entire fleet within minutes. It will shut down their navigation, their weapons, their life support systems. Jake nodded. And they won't see it coming because they don't think we understand quantum physics. They're about to get a very unpleasant surprise, Amy said. The countdown timer on the wall showed 48 hours remaining. Throughout the solar system, human forces were moving into position. Ships that had been hidden for years were powering up their weapons. Soldiers who had trained in secret were preparing for battle. The Zephyrian Empire had conquered 300 worlds. They had never met a species like humanity. They had never encountered a race that spent decades preparing for war while pretending to be primitive. Fleet Commander Zaxthul looked out at the small blue planet and felt confident. In 2 days, it would belong to his empire. He had no idea that Earth's children had been waiting for this moment their entire lives. The warning had been given. Soon the Zephyrians would learn why humans were the most dangerous species in the galaxy. The 72 hours were up. Fleet Commander Zaxthul gave the order to advance toward Earth. His massive ships moved forward in perfect formation, their crystalline hulls reflecting the light of the distant sun. He expected the humans to panic and beg for mercy, just like every other species had done. Begin the attack formation, Zaxthul commanded from his bridge. Target their orbital stations first. Show them the power of the Zephyrian Empire. His fleet of 800 ships moved past Jupiter's orbit. Long-range sensors showed only a handful of primitive human vessels waiting near the giant planet. Zaxthul almost felt sorry for them. Such a small force against his mighty armada. On the bridge of the ESS Liberty, Admiral Jake Morrison watched the alien fleet approach. His ship looked small and old compared to the gleaming Zephyrian vessels. That was exactly what he wanted them to think. All stations report ready, Commander Ryan Bell said quietly. Captain Lisa Torres was monitoring. Alien communications. Sir, they're talking about how easy this is going to be. They think we only have 12 ships. Jake smiled. Lisa, activate the quantum mask disruptors. Ryan, signal all hidden units. It's time to show them what a real fight looks like. Suddenly, the space around Jupiter lit up with energy. The quantum mask fields that had hidden the human fleet collapsed all at once. Where there had been 12 human ships, now there were over 200. They appeared out of nowhere, surrounding the advancing Zephyrian fleet. "What is this?" Zaxthul screamed on his bridge. His sensors were going crazy. Ships were appearing, everywhere, as if they had been invisible. "Sir, we're detecting massive energy signatures," his science officer reported. "These are not primitive vessels. Their technology readings are off our charts." Commander Danny Foster led the first wave of human fighters. His squadron of 30 ships moved like hunting wolves, fast and deadly. They dove toward the nearest Zephyrian cruiser, their weapons charging. "Target their quantum reactors," Danny ordered over the radio. Just like we practiced, the human fighters opened fire with weapons the Zephyrians had never seen before. Instead of simple energy beams, these weapons sent quantum disruption waves that went straight through the alien shields. The first Zephyrian ship shuddered as its power systems began to fail. "Impossible," Zaxthul shouted. "Our shields are impenetrable. No primitive species has ever broken through them." But the human weapons weren't trying to break through the shields. They were designed to ignore them completely. Dr. Amanda Price's teams had spent years studying Zephyrian shield technology. They had found a way to make their weapons exist in a different quantum state, passing through the shields like they weren't even there. Admiral Morrison coordinated the battle from his command ship. "Steve, take your stealth squadron around their left flank. Lisa, jam their communications. Let's see how well they fight when they can't talk to each other." Lieutenant Colonel Steve Parker's black ships moved like ghosts through space. Even though the main human fleet was now visible, his special forces remained hidden. They struck at the Zephyrian rear guard, destroying 3 ships before the aliens even knew they were under attack. The space battle near Jupiter turned into chaos. Zephyrian ships that had conquered hundreds of worlds were exploding one after another. Their crews had never faced an enemy that understood their technology better than they did. On Earth, Dr. Amy Johnson watched the battle on her screens. "It's working perfectly," she told Dr. Amanda Price. "Their quantum reactors are overloading exactly as we predicted." "What about the virus?" Amanda asked. "Ready to deploy. As soon as one of their ships gets close enough to establish a quantum link with the others, I'll release it." Captain Torres intercepted desperate Zephyrian communications. "Admiral, they're calling for help from their home fleet. But something's wrong with their long-range communications." Jake nodded. "That's because we've been jamming their quantum relay stations for the past 6 months. They're cut off from the rest of their empire." The battle moved closer to Mars as the surviving Zephyrian ships tried to retreat. But the humans followed them like persistent predators. This was what made humans different from other species. When they fought, they didn't just defend. They hunted. Commander Foster's fighters had destroyed 12 enemy ships. His squadron regrouped and prepared for another attack. "All units target the command ship. Let's cut off the head of this snake." Zaxthul watched his fleet falling apart. Around him, half of his ships were destroyed or disabled. The others were scattered and confused. How had these primitive humans become so dangerous? "Sir, we need to retreat," his tactical officer said. "We're losing this battle." Retreat? Zaxthul couldn't believe it. The Zephyrian Empire never retreated. They had never needed to. But as he watched another group of his ships explode under human weapons, he realized they had no choice. These humans weren't like the other species they had conquered. These humans had been ready for war. Admiral Morrison opened a communication channel to the Zephyrian command ship. "Commander Zaxthul, this is your second warning. Leave our system now or we will destroy every ship in your fleet." "Second warning?" the alien commander asked. "What do you mean?" "The first warning was 3 days ago," Jake replied. "This battle is your second warning. There won't be a third." Jake cut the communication and turned to his officers. "Amy, release the quantum virus. Let's show them what happens when they threaten our home." Dr. Johnson pressed a single button on her control panel. Instantly, the virus she had created began, spreading through the Zephyrian quantum communication network. It jumped from ship to ship faster than thought, infecting every vessel in the alien fleet. Within minutes, Zephyrian ships began losing power. Their navigation systems failed. Their weapons shut down. Their life support systems started flickering. "What's happening to our ships?" Zaxthul demanded. His science officer looked terrified. "Sir, something is attacking our quantum network. It's spreading through our entire fleet. Our systems are shutting down one by one." Jake Morrison watched as the mighty Zephyrian fleet became helpless. Ships that had ruled the galaxy for centuries were now floating dead in space, their crews trapped inside. "This is impossible," Zaxthul whispered. "We are the Zephyrian Empire. We have the most advanced technology in the galaxy." "You had the most advanced technology," Jake corrected him over the radio. "But you made one critical mistake. You assumed that a species had to discover everything on their own. We learned from you. We took your technology and made it better." The battle was over. The Zephyrian fleet was defeated, their ships disabled or destroyed. But Jake Morrison knew this was just the beginning. The alien empire still had thousands of ships across the galaxy. "Ryan, prepare our long-range assault fleets," Jake ordered. "It's time to take this fight to their home worlds." Commander Bell looked surprised. "Sir, you mean we're going to invade them?" Jake looked out at the wreckage of the alien fleet floating in space. "They came here to conquer us. They threatened our families, our children, our world. Now they're going to learn what happens when you hunt the hunters." The humans had given their warning. The Zephyrians had ignored it. Now Earth's children were going to teach the galaxy a new lesson about what it meant to be the apex predator. The battle moved toward Mars as what remained of the Zephyrian fleet tried to escape. Fleet Commander Zaxthul had lost more than half his ships, and the survivors were badly damaged. He had never experienced defeat before, and the feeling terrified him. "Fall back to the outer system," he ordered his remaining captains. "We need time to regroup and call for reinforcements." But Captain Kelly Brooks was not going to let them escape. She commanded the human pursuit forces, and her orders were clear. No Zephyrian ship could be allowed to return home with information about Earth's real capabilities. "All squadrons maintain pursuit," Kelly ordered over the radio. "Don't let any of them reach the jump point." Her ships moved through space like hunting pack animals. They worked together, cutting off escape routes and forcing the alien ships into kill zones. This was how humans had hunted on Earth for thousands of years. They were patient, relentless, and they never gave up. Commander Danny Foster led his fighter squadron in another attack run. "Target their engines," he told his pilots. "Disable them so they can't run." The human fighters swept down on a damaged Zephyrian cruiser. Their weapons were designed specifically to exploit weaknesses in alien ship design. Years of studying crashed Zephyrian technology had taught them exactly where to hit. On his command ship, Zaxthul watched his fleet being torn apart piece by piece. "How are they doing this?" he asked his science officer. "Our ships are faster than theirs." "Sir, they're not trying to outrun us," the officer replied. "They're hurting us. Every time we try to escape in one direction, more human ships appear to block our path." That was exactly right. Admiral Morrison had positioned his forces like a spiderweb throughout the solar system. No matter which way the Zephyrians tried to run, they found human ships waiting for them. "Ryan, signal the outer system patrol," Jake ordered from his bridge. "Make sure they're ready at the jump point." Commander Ryan Bell nodded. "Sir, Captain, Parker's stealth forces are already in position. If any Zephyrian ship tries to leave the system, they'll be destroyed before they can send a message." Dr. Amy Johnson was monitoring the quantum virus from her laboratory on Earth. The weapon was working better than she had hoped. "Admiral Morrison, the virus has infected 90% of their fleet. Their ships can barely navigate." "What about their communications?" Jake asked. "Completely down. They can't talk to each other, and they definitely can't call for help from their home fleet." This was the most terrifying thing about fighting humans, though the Zephyrians didn't understand it yet. Humans didn't just win battles. They made sure their enemies couldn't learn from defeat. Every Zephyrian ship had to be captured or destroyed to protect Earth's secrets. Lieutenant Colonel Steve Parker's stealth squadron waited near the edge of the solar system. His ships were invisible to alien sensors, hidden like predators waiting for prey. 3 Zephyrian ships were trying to escape toward the jump point. Target acquired, Steve reported quietly. 3 enemy vessels attempting to flee. Engaging now. His ships opened fire with weapons the fleeing Zephyrians never saw coming. The alien vessels exploded in bright flashes, their crews never knowing what hit them. Meanwhile, Dr. Amanda Price was coordinating with human agents who had been placed throughout Zephyrian space years ago. Jake, I'm getting reports from our people in their territory. The Zephyrian home fleet is getting worried. They haven't heard from this attack force. How long before they send another fleet to investigate, Jake asked. Maybe 2 weeks, but Jake, there's something else. Our agents have been sabotaging their shipyards and communication relays for months. When they do try to send help, they're going to have problems. Jake smiled grimly. Humans had been preparing for this war much longer than the Zephyrians realized. While the aliens thought Earth was a primitive world, human spies had been infiltrating their empire and learning all their secrets. Back near Mars, the space battle was reaching its end. Captain Kelly Brooks cornered the last group of Zephyrian ships near one of Mars's moons. The aliens were trapped with nowhere to run. This is Captain Brooks of Earth Defense Command, she broadcast to the surviving enemy ships. Surrender now, and your crews will be treated according to the laws of war. Continue fighting and you will all die. Zaxthul stared at the human captain on his screen. Her face was calm and professional, but her eyes were cold as ice. She looked like a predator that had cornered its prey. You cannot defeat the Zephyrian Empire, he said. We have ruled the galaxy for 1,000 years. Other fleets will come for you. Commander, let me explain something to you, Kelly replied. On our world, when a dangerous animal threatens our families, we don't just drive it away. We hunt down the entire pack, every single member. Kelly's words sent a chill through the alien commander. There was something in her voice that reminded him of stories his people told about the ancient predators of their home world, creatures that never stopped hunting once they caught a scent. Your empire made the mistake of threatening Earth, Kelly continued. Now we're going to hunt down every Zephyrian ship in the galaxy, starting with yours. The remaining human ships moved in for the final attack. Zaxthul realized that his mighty fleet, which had conquered hundreds of worlds, was about to be completely destroyed by creatures he had thought were primitive. Sir, our weapons are offline, his tactical officer reported. The quantum virus has shut down all our systems. We can't fight back. Zaxthul looked around his bridge at his terrified crew. For the first time in his long military career, he was completely helpless. These humans had turned his own technology against him. Dr. Johnson watched her virus complete its work. Every Zephyrian ship in the system was now infected. Their computers were crashing, their navigation was failing, and their life support systems were shutting down one by one. It's beautiful, she said to Dr. Price. They built their entire fleet around quantum networking, thinking it made them stronger. Instead, it gave us the perfect way to destroy them all at once. Admiral Morrison opened a final communication to the Zephyrian commander. Zaxthul, your fleet is finished. Your ships are dead in space. Your crews are helpless. This is what happens when you threaten humanity. Impossible, the alien whispered. We are the apex species. We are the rulers of the galaxy. You were the rulers, Jake corrected. But every apex predator eventually meets something more dangerous. On our world, we call it evolution. The strongest survive and the weak are replaced. Jake cut the communication and turned to his officers. Begin salvage operations. I want every piece of Zephyrian technology recovered and studied, and prepare the long-range assault fleets. It's time to visit their home worlds. Commander. Bell looked at the tactical display showing the destroyed alien fleet. Sir, what about survivors? We'll take prisoners for intelligence purposes, Jake replied. But make no mistake, Ryan, this war is just beginning. The Zephyrian Empire has been the dominant power in this galaxy for centuries. They've enslaved hundreds of species and destroyed countless worlds. Jake looked out at the wreckage floating in space around Mars. But they made one fatal mistake. They threatened Earth, Now humanity is going to show the galaxy what happens when you hunt the ultimate predator. The solar system was secure. The Zephyrian invasion fleet was completely destroyed. But across the galaxy, the real war was about to begin. Earth's children were coming, and they were bringing everything they had learned about being the most dangerous species in the universe. 3 months after the battle at Mars, human ships appeared in the Zephyrian home system of Krellix Prime. The alien empire's capital world had never been attacked in over 1,000 years. Its people believed their military was invincible. Admiral Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of humanity's newest flagship, the ESS Predator. The ship was built using captured Zephyrian technology, but improved by human engineering. It was faster, stronger, and deadlier than anything the aliens had ever created. "Admiral, we're receiving a transmission from the planet," Captain Lisa Torres reported. "It's High Chancellor Vex Thule, the supreme leader of their empire." "Put him on screen," Jake ordered. The alien leader appeared on the main display. He was older than Commander Zax Thule had been, with deep scars on his gray skin, but Jake could see fear in those black eyes. "I am High Chancellor Vex Thule," the alien said. "You are the humans from the primitive world called Earth. We offer you a treaty. Leave our space and we will not send more fleets against you." Jake stepped forward. "Chancellor, your nephew Zax Thule made the same mistake you're making now. You still think this is a negotiation?" "What do you mean?" the alien leader asked. "This isn't a treaty discussion," Jake replied. "This is your surrender ceremony." Behind Jake, the tactical display showed hundreds of human ships surrounding the Zephyrian homeworld. They had appeared out of hyperspace simultaneously, just like predators surrounding cornered prey. Captain Kelly Brooks commanded one of the assault fleets. Her ships had been hunting down Zephyrian vessels throughout the galaxy for months. Every time the aliens tried to regroup, human forces appeared to destroy them. Admiral Morrison, all remaining Zephyrian military forces in this system have been neutralized, Kelly reported. Their orbital defense platforms are offline. The planet is defenseless. Dr. Amanda Price was monitoring the operation from Earth. She had spent 40 years preparing for this moment. "Jake, our intelligence networks report that this is their last major stronghold. Once we control Krellix Prime, the Zephyrian Empire will cease to exist." The alien chancellor looked stunned. "Impossible. Our empire spans 300 star systems. We have ruled this galaxy for millennia." "Had," Jake corrected. "Past tense. Your empire had 300 systems. Now those worlds are being liberated by human forces." This was the truth. While the main fleet attacked the capital, smaller human forces had been systematically conquering every Zephyrian world. The aliens had built their empire through fear and superior technology. But humans had better technology now, and they were much more frightening than the Zephyrians had ever been. Lieutenant Colonel Steve Parker's special forces had been particularly effective. His stealth ships struck at Zephyrian command centers throughout the galaxy, often destroying entire planetary defense networks before the aliens knew they were under attack. "The beauty of it," Steve had told his pilots, "is that they're still trying to fight the last war. They think in terms of big fleets and direct confrontation. We think like hunters." Dr. Amy Johnson had improved her quantum virus during the months of warfare. The new version could infect entire planetary computer networks, shutting down everything from traffic control to military communications. "It's spreading through their infrastructure like wildfire," she reported to Admiral Morrison. "Every Zephyrian world we visited is now completely dependent on our computer systems to function." Commander Ryan Bell was coordinating with human agents throughout former Zephyrian space. "Sir, we're getting reports from all the conquered worlds. The native species that were enslaved by the Zephyrians are welcoming us as liberators." This had been unexpected but welcome. The Zephyrian Empire had ruled through oppression and fear. When human forces arrived and defeated the alien overlords, the enslaved populations often helped them hunt down remaining Zephyrian forces. "Admiral Morrison," came a transmission from Captain Danny Foster. "I'm in the Velen system. The local population has provided us with the locations of all hidden Zephyrian bases. They want to join our forces and fight against their former masters. Jake nodded. This was how empires really fell. Not just through military defeat, but when the conquered peoples turned against their oppressors. The Zephyrians had created their own downfall by being cruel rulers. On the main screen, High Chancellor Vex Thule was trying to understand what had happened to his empire. How did you do this? Your species was barely capable of spaceflight. You were primitive savages. We were never primitive, Jake replied. We were just careful. While you thought we were struggling to reach our own moon, we were studying your technology. While you dismissed us as harmless, we were placing agents throughout your empire. While you felt secure in your power, we were planning your destruction. Jake gestured to the tactical display. Do you know why humans became the dominant species on our world, Chancellor? It wasn't because we were the biggest or the strongest. It was because we were the most persistent hunters. When something threatened our families, we didn't just drive it away. We hunted it down and eliminated it completely. The alien leader's skin turned a pale gray color. You mean to destroy us all? No, Jake said. We're not monsters like you were. The Zephyrian people will survive. But the Zephyrian Empire is finished forever. Captain Torres received a message from Earth. Admiral, President Hayes sends his congratulations. The Global Defense Council has voted to establish the Human Galactic Protectorate. All former Zephyrian worlds that request protection will be granted it. Jake smiled. Humanity had gone from defending one world to protecting hundreds in less than a year. Tell the President we accept the responsibility. Dr. Price's voice came over the communication system. Jake, this is bigger than we ever imagined. The species that were enslaved by the Zephyrians have technology and knowledge we never dreamed of. Together we can build something much better than an empire. High Chancellor Vex Thule listened to the human conversations with growing amazement. You're not going to rule over us? You're not going to enslave the conquered populations? That's not how humans think, Jake explained. We don't want to rule over other species. We want to protect them from species like yours that do. The alien leader was quiet for a long moment. I don't understand. You have the power to create your own empire. Why don't you take it? Jake looked at the image of the blue-green world on his screen. Even from space, Krellix Prime looked beautiful. It was home to billions of Zephyrians who had never chosen to be part of an aggressive empire. Because that's not what Earth taught us, Jake said. Our world made us into hunters, yes, but it also taught us to protect our pack. Now our pack includes every species in the galaxy that wants to live in peace. The surrender ceremony was simple. High Chancellor Vex Thule formally dissolved the Zephyrian Empire and accepted human protection for his people. Across the galaxy, similar ceremonies were taking place as the last Zephyrian military forces laid down their weapons. Captain Kelly Brooks sent her final report from the outer rim of former Zephyrian space. Admiral, that's the last of their warships. The Zephyrian military no longer exists. The galaxy is secure. Jake Morrison looked out at the stars from his command bridge. 6 months ago, humanity had been a single species on one small world. Now they were the protectors of hundreds of civilizations across thousands of star systems. Ryan, send a message to Earth, Jake ordered. Tell them the mission is complete. The threat to humanity has been eliminated. But Jake knew this was really just the beginning. Humans had learned that they were not alone in the universe. They had discovered that the galaxy was full of dangerous predators who preyed on the weak. Sir, Captain Torres asked, what do we do now? Jake smiled as he watched human ships moving to escort convoys of freed alien refugees to their new homes. Now we do what humans have always done, Lisa. We make sure our family is safe. All of our family. The galaxy had a new apex predator, but unlike the Zephyrians, humanity used its power to protect rather than conquer. The warning had been given, ignored, and the consequences delivered. Earth's children had become the guardians of the stars, and in the vast darkness of space, other aggressive empires were beginning to hear stories about the humans from Earth, stories about what happened when you threatened their home. Some were smart enough to change their ways. Others would learn the hard way that there were now hunters in the galaxy who never gave up.